Hello everyone, I'm just outside. I went for a Greg. Yeah, I've decided to brave Storm Eowyn, or however you pronounce it. But welcome to my pre-Southampton video. Yeah, I feel like Dorothy the day. If I had my red slippers on and clipped them a few times, I'd be in Oz. I don't want to be blown from here to Northfield or here to County Durham, so this is just a quick short one before we go to my main video inside. We're down at Southampton tomorrow. Flights have been grounded from Newcastle airport, so it's been confirmed just before there that the club are flying down tomorrow morning at 9 AM, so not ideal prep for the game, but it's what you have to do, safety first. Now, a few stats for going into that game. Southampton, with only having one win in 18 at St Mary's. Newcastle have won the last 3 out of 4 there, losing one. Southampton have 1 win in 35 games, goals scored 1, goals scored 15, goals against 50, so it's a goal difference of -35, and worst record for 3 points a win since Sheffield United in 1975-76, only better by a goal at the start of the 20th century. Well, would that be better? And Newcastle, I think, have only lost 1 in 23 games against newly promoted teams, and that was against away last season. So drop it out. Hello everyone, happy Friday, welcome back to the Magnificent Mags channel. Almost the weekend, it's that close, that close. A rare 1 week gap for Newcastle United, so yeah, I haven't posted a video in 4 or 5 days. And then Newcastle United, they are back in action tomorrow at rock bottom whipping club Southampton. Let's get into it. So firstly, what I want to get onto is Deloitte football table announcement. Newcastle United, in terms of overall revenue, have moved up to 15th. So that's excellent news to see we're climbing back up. And I've got the figures here. So matchday revenue is £67.7 million. Broadcasting is 214.5 million and commercial is 89.7 million. That's excellent progress in all areas. However, we'll have to acknowledge some of the elephants in the room. The main one being that we're commercial side, although 89.7 million is good, we're still miles behind the other 14 clubs ahead of it. Well, I wouldn't say all 14, but you know what I mean. We've still got that gap to make up on teams like obviously Real Madrid, biggest club in the world, Manchester City, Chelsea, despite how bad they are, Man U or something, like, we've still got a way to go to bridge that gap on the commercial side. So that's where we're hoping to get new sponsorships in. PIFs now around the ground, obviously unlike Ashley with Shite Direct, they will be paying with for that advertisement. We're seeing it in the recent home games last week, so that's good news. But we know that we need to grow that area, get new sponsors in, and that can be training ground sponsors, training kit sponsors, even pre-match kit sponsors. We've just got to maximise every area. Now, match day is 67.7 million. Now, well, that's healthy and it has grown a bit because overall revenue increased by 29%. Again, it is behind all the other clubs, and that obviously leads on to the questions of expanding St James's Park or moving stadiums. But before we go on to that, I want to just say, £214.5 million. That's for broadcast revenue, so that's excellent. Because obviously, since the PIF Saudi-led takeover, we have been big news, and they've wanted one telly home and away. So while I'm at every home game, for the away games I can't get to, it's excellent to see that we're mostly on TV and I can't get enough for. Long may that continue. And accounted into that would be the Champions League money. Now, I know we went out at the group stage. It ignored the other night, seeing PSG against Man City. Great game, unbelievable that PSG came back from 2-0 down to win that 4-2. But at the end of the day, that same ref who was in charge of us was in charge there, and we got shafted that night. Not only by the ref, but because there was a PSG board member on the UEFA board. So yeah, they were never scoring from open play, where they had to give Mbappe a pen to score. But I'm not bitter. The other areas, yeah, we'll have to make it up. Now, matchday revenue, I've posted this on a tweet. yesterday. Now, we do need to look at improving the food and drinks offers. This is short term, but we do need to improve the match day entertainment. Now, that can be pre-match and it could be half-time as well. The entertainment, good food and drinks offers to entice people in. The food and drinks options, I mean, Carlin, that's cat's piss, let's be honest. No one likes a Carlin. Awful. And then you've got Kingston Press, Apple and Berry. We need to improve. I know there's Madry in other corners of the ground. I don't know why we don't have it in Strawberry Corner. Or it might be a bit further along, but I can't be bothered to go from access forward times because, yeah, it is a bit of a trek in the queues. You have to be down before 40 minutes in. I pay to see the action, so I'm sometimes loath to go down a bit early, but I don't understand with the queues. Make the experience better, just a little revamp of that, and then it gets on to talk, will we stay at St James's Park or will it be expanded? We'll find out more in the 24th of January. It'll be sometime between the 1st and 31st of March, whenever date the NDAs end, which we don't know. And speaking of expansion, because that's got fans, as I posted, on tenterhooks. We need to wait and see what's going to happen with St James's Park. But actually, just before I go on the training ground, though, it was, you saw the post about 174 pubs within a mile of St James's Park. I knew it was a lot. I thought it was more 130 or 40, but 174, which means what? Wolves are second in 50, so we're 124 pubs ahead of them. But even I don't even believe that with Wolves. I believe it with us. Yes, we're in a prime city centre location, but Wolves, come on. I mean, I've been to Molineux earlier this season and they're all home bars, so you can't really count that. We had to drink in Walsall before we went out, for God's sake, at the Met and that. But, yeah, moving on to the training ground. So I've just came over to this side of the room just to talk about Populus. You can see Alan Shearer there. I like this part of the room. But yeah, what a coup getting Populus on board. What Craig Holbrook on the Daily Mail yesterday designed stadiums, training grounds in the NFL, the NBA, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They're doing Roma's new stadium in the Eternal City. They've designed Real Madrid Sports City Complex. I mean, this is massive news. Obviously, we all want to hear about St James's Park, but to get these on board, wow, what a portfolio they have. And the fact that they've got that behind them, they're massive clubs. And Newcastle have, like, they're going to have, as it's been mentioned, all-weather pitches, cryotherapy chambers, hydrotherapy pools, the best equipment for working out, all-weather pitches to combat nonsense like this winter day. So they can train anywhere, because Darsley Park, like Benton's, had about, 10 million, circa 10 million spent on it. But the training ground, although they moved there, what was it? It was the late 90s, early 2000s, because they used to play and train, well, sorry, not play, they used to train at Maiden Castle. And that's when all the players have said, people used to walk across the pitch with dogs, and there was dog shit everywhere. So yeah, moving up here has been great, but the training ground is outdated despite the developments on it. It is looking tired, and we need that to catch up and attract the best players and close the gap on the bigger clubs. And honestly, if it's true what Newcastle World is saying, they've reported circa £200 million they're willing to spend on it. That is massive, just for the fact that if they spend 200 million just on a training ground, wow, I think it'll be the best one in the league. Honestly, City's looks great, but I think it'll be better than City's. So we'll wait and see. Could start as early as next year, but they need to find sites. We've heard rumours it could be near the race course up in Gossey, or it could be near the airport, Woolsington. We'll see. It's not as controversial as the stadium, because obviously we won't be at the training ground. Like the players will. The stadiums where it'll concern the fans with the city centre location, as I mentioned just before, the number of bars. It's the best away day ever if you're an away fan. It's even better if you're a home fan living here. But yeah, we'll wait and see on the training ground. Could start next year, likely 2027, and I think we'll see that before St James's gets developed. PSO, we'll have to come back to that other elephant in the room, Miggy Almiron. Eddie Howe said today that he's a valuable member of the squad. They'll love him to bits, and that there is interest there from Atlanta, but he's still here at the moment. Now, there has been a lot of frustration that I've seen on social media this morning over Eddie's comments, saying that we're bad sellers. He's too loyal to Miggy, other players like that, so that's why they're still here. But you've got to look at it from this perspective. I think Eddie Howe, he's the manager, he's media trained. He's not going to come out and diss Miggy Almiron and say, oh, I think his time's up here. He's not going to go, oh, he's surplus the requirements, he's crap, he's deadwood, etc., which I've seen Miggy described as. I've said that in the past, but I know it is a bit harsh. So I'm not saying I've never said it, but Eddie's not going to say that, is he? And then if the deal falls through, he's got a player there who's unhappy with the manager's come out and basically tore him apart in public. Eddie's never going to do that. So Eddie Howe also is not in charge of transfers. The fact that he's only given Miggy about 180 minutes this season tells you everything you need to know. 180, 183, something like that. But it just tells you all you need to know. His time here has come to an end. So that just tells you actions speak louder than words. Eddie's not going to come out and tell you the true intentions. So we'll wait and see on Miggy. And another caveat to that is the MLS transfer window doesn't open until the 31st of this month, next Friday. So that could be why Newcastle want to keep him here for Southampton tomorrow. Maybe keep him until the Fulham game as well, so he gets a St James's farewell, then he goes off because the window is open, I think, until the Monday before the second leg on February the 3rd. So I'd probably expect to see Miggy here for another 2 games, tomorrow and next Saturday against Fulham at St James's, and then he'll get his farewell. Obviously, again, I said that might be the case against Bournemouth, but you have to be winning the game. You can't just bring a player on if you're not winning the game for sentimentality reasons. So we'll wait and see on Miggy. He said Lloyd Kelly as well. We've got to wait and see on him. He's dismissed transfer talk coming out from other clubs such as Fenerbahce and Juventus, and he says he doesn't like to talk about another club's player when he's signed to them, so he finds it disrespectful they're talking about Lloyd Kelly when he's still a Newcastle player. And Luke Edwards has shut down the rumours that he's on £150,000 a week, so he's more on the nose, so I'll believe that, fair enough. You just think he is on a bit more because he was a free transfer, so he's got that wiggle room to get a bit more. But again, you've got to think of it this way as well. For Miggy and Lloyd Kelly, they're on big wages, the Premier League players, whether they're playing or not. So you've got to have a club willing to buy these players as well. We can't just go, oh, we're getting rid of you. We're not just going to go, yeah, you can go because we're going to take, 8, 5, 10 million for you. If we want value out of them, can stretch it out for this window, and there's a club willing to pay their wages, of course we'll take it, but it's not that easy. It's the club's bad decisions in the past when we've held on to players on big contracts and wages, as we've seen Isaac Hayden, as we saw before got rid of Dummett with Richie, players like that. And we've still got, obviously, Longstaff here who's been linked with a move away, Wilson too. But there we are. It's not that straightforward. And I've just got to say, with PSR reasons, I'll finish on this. People have got to realise with PSR, what was it? Now, we've been reported 300, I'm trying to remember the figure off the top of my head, but it was maybe 380 million, I think, we've made in total. I'll just check that. It's probably about 380 million we've got in total, but you've got to think 70% of PSR goes on players. And then you've got pre-commitments to either transfers of players who've already signed. Wages is a massive chunk of that. And then other commitments like payments elsewhere. It's like saying you sell something, you've got that money, you think, right, we can blow that on Gahey. But in my perspective on this is that what if you're already committing to your mortgage? You're paying back a loan that you needed if you were struggling a bit. You've got your household bills. There could be unexpected stuff happen with your car, like a burst tyre or engine failure, something like that. The club have got expenditures, so you can't just go, well, I had this money for Gahey. I think we're not going to sign anyone, in all honesty, this window, and the club are keeping the powder dry for the window, especially with Man City. Now, I know they've went and signed 4 players, and Kusanov being a prime example. We made inquiries about them, but that puts City on alert, and we just haven't got the money at the moment. And if the club are going to be sensible, they're not going to go for a points deduction. We've got to stop this talk of, oh, let's just sign who we want and take the points deduction. That's just stupid, naive, and PIF are not going to do that. They're an investment for... They're not going to do that because the Premier League will make an example of whether they want to do that. And yeah, you can take this argument in about Chelsea. Yeah, we don't like that they sold hotels, the women's team training grounds to themselves, but Chelsea sell players well and for high money. That's why they can keep doing it. I don't agree with this whole negotiating their own settlement to avoid a points deduction because it was Abramovich, not Bowley. That's nonsense. It's still on the club. I don't agree with that getting out of a deduction. And then I posted yesterday, you've got Man U, who've announced the £300 million over 3 years losses. Yeah, they've got a bailout for COVID to avoid PSR. And then they're going to still sign players freely despite all Ratcliffe's cuts. And yet we're having to scrimp and scrape despite owners worth 750 billion to 1 trillion, whatever you want to call it, no debt. But other clubs can still go out and sign. But you look at it, City and Chelsea especially have got massive revenues that dwarf ours still. They do. They just do. That's why they can still sign players. And City either confident they're going to beat the court case against the Premier League. We're still waiting to hear on that now it's concluded. Or they just feel like the Premier League haven't got a leg to stand on. They're not going to get a transfer ban. Or if they are, they're getting the players in now before it happens. So we don't know. We don't know. But PSR is not that straightforward. If we're keeping our powder dry till the summer, so be it. City have got the money, we haven't. It's simple as that. Kusanov's went there. Even though he was interested in Newcastle, according to his agent, it's as simple as that. It's done. So just forget about it. And yeah, the last thing on it, as well as Kusanov, talks are going well with Dubravka, Eddie says today. And the other thing is, Eddie said he'd like a player in every window, but it's just not the reality at the moment. So that's it. That's how it is. So let's get off business talk and transfers and PSR, and let's go and concentrate on tomorrow's game at Southampton. So as it stands, Newcastle United are 6th in the Premier League after Chelsea and City's results at the weekend. We're on 38 points. Now with a win, we can go up to 4th. Now we could drop as low as 5th, but the good news is on the 5:30 tomorrow night, Saturday Night Football, Man City at the Etihad are against Chelsea, so both teams can't win. So it's imperative Newcastle get a win to stay in them 5 Champions League slots because we've still got the highest coefficient at the moment for a 5th spot. Southampton at the other end of the table, rock bottom, they're on 6 points out of a possible 66. They've won 1 game against the Scouse Mackems and they've drew 3. And then they've lost 18. So they're shocking. We've got to be going there and winning. Now, I know they have improved under Juric. They've been possession-based still in phases. They're good off the ball, man-to-man marking. They should have won at Old Trafford, in all honesty. They were very impressive. And they were unlucky against Nottingham Forest, getting 2 goals back. But Newcastle, in all honesty, should be going there and winning tomorrow. Because at the moment, the way the table stands, we're 1 point ahead of Bournemouth. We're 2 ahead of Aston Villa, we're 4 ahead of Brighton, and we're 5 ahead of Fulham. And that's a big one, because Fulham play Man U at home on Sunday, they could win. And then if we don't win at Southampton or draw, the gap's down to 2 or 3 points. And then we've got Fulham next week. So we need to keep that 5-point gap. And then if they slip up at home, obviously we don't want Man U winning, but if they could take a point, that would mean we can open up the gap on Fulham to 7 points if they drew. Or it could be 8 if they lost. So yeah, but we just need to take care of ourselves and make sure we go there and win. Now, our last defeat to Southampton was the November the 6th, 2020. We lost 2-0 at St Mary's. But our record against them recently has been excellent, especially the last 3 games there against them. Obviously, we've won 2-1, 4-1 and 1-0. The 2-1 was Bruno's first goal. The second half of the 21-22 season, the back heel. Then we won 4-1 in the league before the World Cup break in 22-23. And then obviously we won when we last got to the League Cup final with the 1-0 goal for Joe Linton in the first leg. So it's looking good so far. We've won 11 of our last 15 games against Southampton. And our overall record against them is good reading. We played 109, won 47, drew 24 and lost 38. So Newcastle United have the advantage against them. But as Eddie Howe said this morning, we need to forget about the title talk. It's never been said internally. We just need to find our momentum and we need to get our rhythm again. Look, results against Bournemouth can happen. And in a way, yeah, we were going for the record, but you could say it was a good reality check. Forget about the title. It's Liverpool's to lose. All we need to do this season is try and win the League Cup and get Champions League football. And that is a great springboard to go from. As I said before, we still need a top goalkeeper, pacey right centre-back. He was young, lots of talent, and a good career ahead of him. A very good right wing and a good backup striker was available for Isak. Eddie Howe said before, yes, he came back to being fatigued. I don't want to buy that too much because we haven't got Europe. But yeah, it is still a small squad, so you could maybe allow it a bit. I still don't believe it's the full reason Bournemouth were just better than we. And I can admit it's a factor, but yeah, you just said the players look tired and fatigued, and when you're not at your full game, you will get punished, especially against a good team like Bournemouth. All we need to do is make sure we get back to our best and we just get the result that we expect. And what do I think tomorrow? It'll probably be the whole team. In centre-backs, the only place I think there'll be changes. Fabi Shaw will come back in. I reckon he might go with, because Byrne had a shocker. I know one game is harsh, but I have Sven Botman's fine. He has confirmed. Nick Pope's back in the squad. Botman's fine. He was fatigued and had to come off, but he's fine now. The rest of them good. Shaw's back after illness, and Wilson will still be back early February, likely the second leg against Arsenal. So that's a big boost. In a massive game there, we need to make sure we get through to Wembley for a second cup final in 3 years. So yeah, that's the injury news. It was nice of Eddie Howe as well to come out and say that he really appreciated the support at the Gallagher end after the defeat. I was still in there, I was applauding them. I'm there. Win, lose or draw, I'll applaud the lads, because they did try. It was just we're beaten by a better team on the day. That can happen. I think it's our biggest home defeat since City won in the December after the takeover of 2021 when they won 4-0. And even that day we tried and just beaten by better quality. So yeah, it's just one of them things. We're still a united club. Defeats can happen. It's a good reality check against two teams we need to look to get 6 points against before a huge biggie against Arsenal in the second leg. But yeah, full focus on tomorrow. And there's been a couple of interviews this week. Lewis Hall thinks the Newcastle can win the Carabao Cup. That's what we all believe. That's the spirit. Beat anyone on the day. And Tino just says they're mentally refreshed and ready to go again. So that's excellent. Watch them on the club's YouTube channel if you haven't had the chance. But I've just got to say as well, with that, the West Ham game was shared yesterday. It has been moved to the Monday night, the week before the cup final, if we get there. If we're not there yet, just 1 foot in. Monday the 10th, I believe that is 10, 11, 12. Yeah, Monday the 10th of March. Now, I couldn't say this as well. If Spurs and Liverpool get through to the knockout stages of the Champions League and Europa League respectively, they'll be playing knockout ties that week as well. So it's not all them just saying that Newcastle playing the Monday and less rest than the other so-called bigger clubs. But yeah, that's just how it is. Got to play the games, and West Ham had to travel up here on a Monday, so no shock that they've shafted us and we have to play down there on a Monday. But my final predictions while I wrap this video up, I think Newcastle United are going to go down there and will win 3-1. So I'm going Southampton 1, Newcastle United 3. But anyway, that's it for now from me. Thank you very much for watching. Safe trip to everyone going down to Southampton. And I hope we bring 3 points back. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Up Sea Houses tomorrow. So I'm going to be watching the game from there. And I'll give my thoughts after the game. Just an instant match reaction. But for now, take care. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Take care, enjoy your weekend, and I hope we'll win. Bye-bye.